Good morning. It's Reverend Mike Caper from the First Presbyterian Church of Troy, Pennsylvania. Um, Glad to be sharing biblical text and sermon with you on this day, which is called All Saints. It's when we have some recollection of those who came before us in the faith, and as you'll hear from our text, are in a sense still with us even now. I'm going to be reading from Hebrews chapter 12. Here we go. Therefore, since we are surrounded by so great a cloud of witnesses, let us also lay aside every weight and the sin that clings so closely, and let us run with perseverance the race that is set before us, looking to Jesus, the pioneer and perfecter of faith, who for the sake of the joy that was set before him endured the cross, disregarding its shame, and has taken his seat on the right hand of the throne of God. Consider him who endured such hostility against himself from sinners, so that you may not grow weary in your souls or lose heart. In your struggle against sin, you have not yet resisted to the point of shedding your blood. Verse 11. Now, discipline always seems painful rather than pleasant at the time, but later it yields the peaceful fruit of righteousness to those who have been trained by it. Therefore, lift your drooping hands and strengthen your weak knees, and make straight paths for your feet, so that what is lame may not be put out of joint, but rather be healed. Pursue peace with everyone, and the holiness without which no one will see the Lord. This is the word of the Lord, my friends. Thanks be to God. So, I've always admired long distance runners. I really do, despite the occasional joke about them having brain damage. After all, to decide to run for many miles for fun sounds a bit nuts to us saner couch potatoes. But underneath my jibes is a respect bordering on awe. I am impressed when I see people in my neighborhood run by my house, and I am downright amazed to see professional runners in the Olympics or other events. They're so graceful, so full of quiet strength. They have such endurance, wells of energy that propel them over those many miles. Well, this morning we get to pretend that we too are marathon runners. No matter what our age or physical condition, this morning we are allowed to picture ourselves running with all that grace and energy, because that is the image we are presented with in Hebrews chapter 12. Let me say a few things about what this race looks like. First of all, we are not running on some private indoor track. We are running along city streets and country lanes. Think of the Boston Marathon with the streets lined by cheering crowds, and all the best retired runners are cheering for us. Hebrews 12:1 says that we are surrounded by a great cloud of witnesses, and we know precisely who those are from the preceding text in chapter 11. From Abel to Noah, Abraham and Sarah, Moses and Miriam, Deborah and Gideon, Rahab and Joshua, and many, many more. Those were the predecessors in the faith at the time that Hebrews was written. And we ourselves must add to that. Peter and Paul, Jerome and Augustine, Anselm and Aquinas, Calvin and Wesley, Martin Luther and Martin Luther King Jr. In our Troy congregation, I'm going to read a list of people that was given to me earlier in the week. Who are more recent. Indeed, hopefully every one of us could name some person now gone who formed and molded us in the faith. And all these people are lining the streets as we run our race, cheering their heads off, urging us to run well, wanting us to succeed. But as we look back, we realize there's a funny thing about this particular race. There was no official starting line. We didn't all begin at the same time, and perhaps we didn't even plan to run in it. In a very odd way, we simply find ourselves running. Or perhaps a better way to put it is that we were simply walking along and a lot of people looking very happy ran by us. And we wondered what they were running toward. So we ran a little bit and we asked them. And they told us about their coach, Coach Jesus, who set the world record for this race and blazed the trail. And they spoke about him in such glowing terms packed with passion and love that we couldn't help ourselves. We just kept running because they told us Let us fix our eyes on Jesus, the author and perfecter of our faith. And there we are in our street clothes, trying to run a race. Some of us are in dresses or suits. Maybe others are wearing our winter coats. Some might be barefoot in their pajamas. It all depends on where you were when you started running. But if you're going to run well, you have to strip off all the extraneous layers and get streamlined. So off come those overcoats and jackets. Cast them aside. Let us throw off everything that hinders and the sin that so easily entangles. Let us run with perseverance the race marked out for us. But still, after running for a while, we can get tired or frustrated. Our legs start to ache, and some of our fellow racers don't run exactly the way we do. Worse yet, there are some pedestrians who boo and cheer, and maybe they even throw a few rocks our way. So we start looking around and we wonder if it is all worth it. What is so great about finishing this race, anyways? Is it worth all this sweat and effort? It is. Focus on Coach Jesus, who for the joy set before him endured the cross, scorning its shame, and sat down at the right hand of the throne of God. Consider him who endured such opposition from sinful people, so that you may not grow weary and lose heart. Jesus literally ran himself to death, and so have some of his more faithful disciples. That has not stopped them. For when you reach this finish line, even death is of no account at all. But in our struggle against sin, we have not even resisted to the point of shedding our blood. Compared to what Jesus and the martyrs suffered, our pains are not all that severe. But more importantly, this is a race, and the phrase no pain, no gain has some truth to it. If Coach Jesus is a little hard on us, it is for our own good. Indeed, he does not just coach us because he wants a good team. He really cares about us. He loves us like we were his own children, his heirs. So don't lose heart when he's rough on us, because the Lord disciplines those he loves and punishes everyone he accepts as a son or daughter. For what child is not disciplined by their parents? Our parents disciplined us for a little while as they thought best, but God disciplines us for our own good, that we may share in his holiness. No discipline seems pleasant at the time, but painful. Later on, however, it produces a harvest of righteousness and peace for those who have been trained by it. We have an initial aversion to discipline from coaches and parents, but deep down we know it was for our benefit. I remember some conversations with some teenagers who admit this. They would rather have rules set by their parents because it shows their parents love them. As the text says, we've all had human fathers who disciplined us and we respected them for it. How much more should we submit to the Father of spirits and live? So do not worry if your arms feel feeble or your knees feel weak. Stick to this level path marked out by Coach Jesus. Keep to the straight and narrow. All the detours are really dead ends anyway. But by running the way Jesus instructs us, you will find that your infirmities and lamenesses are eventually healed. This is the kind of race you don't need a rest from. You feel better the longer you run it. Because we aren't sprinters who will run out of gas. We are marathon runners on Coach Jesus' team, and we run with grace and strength. And we can do it because we fix our eyes on Jesus. Hallelujah and amen. May God bless you all.